Today on Everything East County, we are at the Edgemoor Barn, which is the current home to Santee Historical Society. We're going to learn a little more about Santee's history. Let's get to it. Alan.
Yes.
We are here at the Edgemoor Barn in Santee. This is something that I know a lot of people drive by all the time, but nobody really knows what it is or why it's here. So your job today is to tell us a little more about it.
Okay. Well, the Edgemoor Barn was built in 1913. It is probably the oldest structure remaining in Santee, except with the Padre, with the dam down here. But that's really something else.
All right.
But this is the last remaining vestige of the Dupree farm that we set up, the Edgemoor Farm, in 1913.
Okay.
Had a working dairy farm. The county took it over in 1923, turned it into a poor farm and also a geriatric hospital. And then later, in the 40s, it became a full-time geriatric hospital, remained in operation till 2008.
Wow.
When they built the new facility across the river, and at that point, everything else was torn down. And this is the only thing that remains on this piece of property that used to be all hospital grounds.
So when somebody does come inside, what are they going to see?
They're going to see a lot of things that have been collected over the years. Some of it may have some reference to life in Santee in the past. Some of it may not have any particular thing, but they are interesting to look at.
All right.
We, for example, there's an area that we have tools and things, and I'm trying to keep the tools in there that people would have seen in the 20s and in the 30s, and what they would be working with on a regular, everyday basis.
And I understand where we're at now, there used to be some polo fields surrounding this.
Right.
So tell me about that.
Well, there was a polo barn off to the north, and was destroyed in the flood of 1916. Now, you're familiar with the flood of 1916, are you?
Yeah, I mean, it feels like it was just yesterday.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to think of the fellow's name. He was known as the Rainmaker.
All right.
I think it was Hayfield. And the city of San Diego hired him to fill Lake Marina. Well, it filled Lake Marina several times over and had basically every bridge in San Diego County washed out.
Wow.
So consequently, because we're in a floodplain, everything here was affected except here. And one of the things about the barn is that it has concrete walls up to about 3 feet. And everything else above it is all redwood. So the combination made it survive.
That's why this old building is still intact.
That's why it's still here. There used to be, back in the heydays, a community garden right next to this. And I think what happened was when the hospital went away, so did the community garden. But we have a different kind of garden. We're trying to bring in items that are normally occur in Southern California, and plants and trees and so forth. And we have a guide to kind of show you how to go around identifying the different trees and so forth.
And that's your episode of Food for Thought for the day. Hopefully you guys learned some cool stuff about the history here in Santee like I did. If you guys want to come learn a little more, come check out the Santee Historical Society. These guys are awesome. Tons of cool information. It's always fun to learn about the history of where you live. And if you guys enjoyed the episode, we'd love for you guys to like it, comment on it, share it so more people can learn about all the cool stuff going on here in East County. Thanks so much for watching this episode of Everything East County.